Peter Bassano, a celebrated British conductor and musician, passed away at the age of 81. A descendant of the renowned Bassano family, musicians who graced the English court since the 16th century, he carried forward a musical legacy that spans centuries. His deep connection to music, combined with his commitment to historical performance, made him one of the most respected figures in classical music. A legacy rooted in history. Born into a lineage of distinguished musicians, Peter Bassano was destined to leave his mark on the world of classical music. The Bassano family, originally from Venice, had long been associated with the royal courts of England, particularly during the reign of Elizabeth I. Peter carried this legacy with pride, often drawing inspiration from his ancestors' contributions to music. His musical journey began with a deep fascination for brass instruments, particularly the trombone. He quickly developed a reputation as a skilled trombonist, performing with some of the most prestigious orchestras in the world. His technical precision and expressive playing earned him a place among the leading brass musicians of his generation. The conductor's baton. While his early career focused on performance, Peter Bassano's true calling emerged when he stepped onto the conductor's podium. As a conductor, he brought a unique blend of historical awareness and contemporary interpretation to his performances. His ability to bridge the past and present allowed audiences to experience classical works with fresh perspectives while still honoring their original essence. He led numerous orchestras across Europe and beyond, including major symphonies, chamber groups, and historically informed ensembles. His meticulous attention to detail, coupled with his deep understanding of musical phrasing and structure, made his performances stand out. Whether conducting Beethoven, Bach, or 20th century compositions, Bassano's interpretations were always deeply informed and passionately executed. A passion for teaching. Beyond his contributions as a performer and conductor, Peter Bassano was a dedicated educator. He served as a professor at the Royal College of Music, where he mentored countless young musicians, shaping the future of classical performance. His teaching philosophy emphasized both technical mastery and emotional depth, pushing his students to not only play music but to truly understand and feel it. Many of his students went on to have successful careers in music, a testament to his ability to inspire and guide the next generation. He believed that education was the key to keeping classical music alive and relevant, and he dedicated much of his later career to nurturing young talent, preserving musical heritage. Bassano was also deeply involved in preserving historical musical traditions. He worked on projects that revived Renaissance and Baroque compositions, bringing forgotten works back to life. His expertise in historical performance practices made him a sought-after figure in the world of early music, and his research contributed to a greater understanding of how music was performed in centuries past. He frequently collaborated with other historians and musicians to ensure that his interpretations were as authentic as possible. His dedication to historical accuracy, however, never overshadowed his desire to make music accessible and engaging for modern audiences. A life well lived. Peter Bassano's impact on the world of classical music is immeasurable. His career spanned decades, during which he performed, conducted, and taught with unwavering dedication. His ability to honor tradition while embracing innovation set him apart as a musician and educator. Even in his later years, Bassano remained active in the musical community, attending performances, mentoring young artists, and advocating for music education. His presence in the classical music world will be deeply missed, but his contributions will continue to inspire generations of musicians to come. P.H. Moriarty, a legendary British actor best known for his tough guy roles in films like Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, passed away at the age of 84. His unmistakable presence, deep voice, and intense performances made him one of the most memorable character actors in British cinema. Throughout his career, Moriarty embodied the rough-and-tumble world of gangsters, enforcers, and no-nonsense authority figures, bringing a raw authenticity to every role he played. From the dockyards to the silver screen. Born in London, Moriarty's early life was far removed from the glitz of Hollywood. Before stepping into the world of acting, he worked as a docker, a job that built the rugged, streetwise demeanor he later brought to the screen. His real-life experiences in London's working-class neighborhoods gave him an authenticity that no acting school could teach. Moriarty's journey into acting was unconventional. Unlike many actors who spent years in drama school, he found his way into the industry through sheer presence and personality. His tough look and commanding aura caught the attention of filmmakers who were searching for someone with a natural grit, and he quickly became a go-to actor for intense, menacing roles. A face you couldn't forget. Moriarty's breakout role came in 1980 when he played Hatchet Harry in Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, Guy Ritchie's iconic crime film. As the ruthless crime boss, he delivered a performance that was both chilling and darkly humorous. His gravelly voice, imposing stare, and menacing presence made Hatchet Harry one of the most unforgettable villains in British cinema. But that was just one of many roles where he excelled. Moriarty was often cast as gangsters, enforcers, and hard-nosed figures of authority. His performances in films like Scum and The Long Good Friday solidified his reputation as one of the toughest men in British film. He was never just a one-dimensional bad guy. His characters often had depth, hidden motives, and a quiet intensity that set him apart from stereotypical villains. A career built on character. Though he never played leading roles, Moriarty's performances were always unforgettable. He had the rare ability to command a scene, even with minimal dialogue. Directors knew that a single look from him could communicate more than an entire page of script. His career spanned decades, with appearances in both film and television. He became a recognizable figure on British TV, guest starring in crime dramas and period pieces, where his no-nonsense style fit perfectly. He was particularly well regarded for his performances in hard-hitting dramas that explored themes of crime, power, and survival. A cult following and lasting influence. Despite never being a mainstream Hollywood star, P.H. Moriarty gained a devoted cult following. Fans of British gangster films revered him as one of the genre's defining figures. His work influenced younger actors and filmmakers who sought to capture the same gritty realism he brought to his roles. Even in his later years, Moriarty continued to embrace his tough guy persona, appearing at fan conventions and film retrospectives. He never lost the rough-edged charm that made him so beloved in the first place. A legend of British cinema. P.H. Moriarty's passing marks the end of an era for British crime films. He was one of the last actors who truly embodied the grit and toughness of London's underworld, bringing it to life on screen with an authenticity that can't be taught. His legacy lives on through his unforgettable performances, proving that sometimes the toughest guys leave the biggest impact. Satoru Abe, a legendary Hawaiian sculptor and painter, passed away at the age of 97. With a career spanning over 7 decades, Abe became a cornerstone of Hawaii's modern art movement, blending Eastern philosophy with Western artistic techniques. His signature sculptures, often featuring abstract trees, explored themes of nature, spirituality, and the interconnectedness of all things. His work not only transformed public spaces in Hawaii, but also left an indelible mark on the international art world. A journey from Hawaii to the art capitals of the world. Born in Honolulu, Hawaii in 1926, Satoru Abe's artistic journey began in an environment rich with cultural diversity. Though he initially pursued a more conventional path, enrolling at Honolulu's McKinley High School, his passion for art could not be ignored. After high school, he set his sights on New York City, where he attended the Art Students League. It was in New York that Abe's artistic identity truly began to take shape. Inspired by the abstract expressionist movement that dominated the era, he absorbed techniques and philosophies that would later merge seamlessly with his Japanese heritage. He studied under some of the greatest modern artists of the time, refining his skills in painting before finding his true calling in sculpture. The birth of an artistic legacy. Upon returning to Hawaii, Abe began crafting sculptures that blended organic forms with industrial materials. His most famous works revolved around trees, symbolic representations of life, growth, and resilience. His tree sculptures, often made from metal and copper, seemed to defy gravity, with twisting branches and abstract forms reaching toward the sky. His pieces were more than just art. They were deeply philosophical. Abe's sculptures explored the connection between humanity and nature, reflecting the spiritual harmony found in Japanese aesthetics. He drew from both his Eastern roots and Western influences, creating a unique fusion that resonated with audiences worldwide, transforming public spaces. Satoru Abe's work can be found in countless public spaces throughout Hawaii. His sculptures, often large-scale installations, are displayed in schools, parks, museums, and corporate buildings. He believed that art should not be confined to galleries, but should instead be accessible to all. His installations, particularly his monumental tree sculptures, became landmarks in Honolulu and beyond, shaping the city's cultural landscape. One of his most famous works, East and West, symbolizes the fusion of two artistic traditions. His ability to create sculptures that felt both grounded and ethereal made his work instantly recognizable. He brought movement and life to metal, a feat that earned him widespread acclaim. A mentor and inspiration to many. Beyond his personal success, Abe was a dedicated mentor to younger artists. He was an active part of Hawaii's art community, guiding and inspiring a new generation of sculptors and painters. He frequently collaborated with other artists, believing in the power of collective creativity. His willingness to share knowledge and his passion for artistic exploration made him a beloved figure among his peers. Even in his later years, he continued working, experimenting with new techniques and materials. His relentless curiosity kept his art fresh and ever-evolving. A timeless legacy. Satoru Abe's passing marks the loss of one of Hawaii's greatest artistic minds. But his influence will never fade. His sculptures continue to stand as testaments to his vision, reminding us of the delicate balance between nature and human existence. His art lives on, not just in metal and paint, but in the inspiration he instilled in others. A true master of his craft, Satoru Abe proved that art has the power to connect cultures, transcend boundaries, and leave an everlasting impact on the world. Dennis Richmond, a broadcasting icon and the longtime anchor of KTVU Channel 2 News, passed away at the age of 80. For nearly 40 years, he was the face of television news in the San Francisco Bay Area, earning the trust and admiration of millions of viewers. His deep, authoritative voice, unwavering professionalism, and commitment to journalistic integrity made him one of the most respected figures in American local news. A humble beginning that led to broadcasting greatness. Dennis Richmond was born in Rossford, Ohio, in 1943. His early years were far from glamorous, but his strong work ethic and determination would later shape his remarkable career. He attended Wayne State University in Detroit, where he initially pursued a degree in education. However, fate had different plans. In 1968, he joined KTVU as a part-time clerk, filing scripts and running errands behind the scenes. At the time, there were very few African-American journalists in mainstream television, but Richmond didn't let that deter him. His hard work and passion for news were evident, and within a few years, he was given the opportunity to step in front of the camera. The rise of a Bay Area news legend. By 1976, Richmond was named the lead anchor for KTVU's 10 o'clock news. It was a historic moment, not only because he became one of the first black anchors in major market television, but also because he set a new standard for local news reporting. His commanding presence, calm demeanor, and no-nonsense delivery quickly won over audiences. Unlike the flashy anchors of modern television, Richmond never relied on theatrics or sensationalism. He believed in delivering the news with accuracy, fairness, and respect for the viewer. His ability to stay composed, even when covering difficult stories, made him a trusted source of information for decades, covering decades of history. Throughout his career, Dennis Richmond covered some of the biggest stories in American history. From the political upheavals of the 1970s to the tragic events of 9/11, he was on the front lines of reporting, ensuring that the Bay Area received the news with clarity and professionalism. One of the most defining moments of his career was his coverage of the 1989 Loma Prieta earthquake. As chaos unfolded, Richmond remained a steady voice, providing critical updates and guiding viewers through the disaster. His reporting was instrumental in keeping people informed and calm during a time of crisis. breaking barriers and setting standards. Dennis Richmond was more than just a news anchor. He was a trailblazer. At a time when Black journalists faced systemic barriers in the industry, he proved that talent and dedication could break down any obstacle. He inspired countless aspiring journalists, especially young African Americans, to pursue careers in broadcasting. He was also known for his deep commitment to mentoring the next generation. Many of today's top news anchors credit Richmond for his guidance and support in their early careers. He was not just a role model in front of the camera, but also behind the scenes, where he pushed for diversity and fairness in newsroom practices. Retirement and legacy. After an incredible 40-year career, Dennis Richmond retired in 2008. His final broadcast was an emotional moment for viewers across the Bay Area. Tributes poured in from colleagues, politicians, and everyday people who had grown up watching him deliver the news. He had become more than just an anchor. He was a trusted figure in people's lives. In recognition of his contributions, Richmond received numerous awards, including Lifetime Achievement Honors and commendations from the City of Oakland and the State of California. Even after retiring, he continued to be an influential figure in the community, engaging in philanthropy and advocating for journalistic integrity. A voice that will never be forgotten. Dennis Richmond's passing marks the end of an era in Bay Area journalism, but his legacy remains unshakable. He was more than just a broadcaster. He was a symbol of trust, dedication, and excellence in journalism. His influence lives on in the journalists he mentored, the stories he told, and the millions of viewers who relied on him for honest reporting. In a world where news can often feel chaotic and unreliable, Richmond's legacy serves as a reminder of what journalism should be: truthful, dignified, and always in service of the public.